My name is Lauren, and I was 28 when my parents booked my sister Megan's wedding venue in my name without asking me. At first, I thought it had to be a mistake. 3 days earlier, my mother had called me sounding excited because she and my father had found a venue for my sister Megan's wedding. She described the garden, the reception hall, the little lake behind the building, and how lucky they were that one date was still available. Then an email arrived in my inbox. The subject line said, "Welcome, Lauren, we're excited to host your event." I almost deleted it. I was not getting married. Then I opened it and saw Megan's name. Bride, Megan Carter. Groom, Tyler Reed. Primary booking contact, Lauren Carter. My name. My phone number. My email address. I called my mother immediately. I asked why my name was on Megan's venue booking. There was a short pause. Then she laughed and said, "Oh, that. We just needed a reliable family contact." I told her she should have asked me first. She said, "Lauren, it's just paperwork. Don't turn this into something." I wanted to believe that explanation. For about 24 hours, I did. Then Megan called me. She was talking about flowers, table layouts, and where she wanted to take pictures. She sounded happier than I had heard her in months. Then she said, "I still can't believe you're doing this for us." I asked, "Doing what?" She went quiet. Then she said, "The venue. Mom said you wanted it to be your wedding gift to me." I did not answer for a few seconds. Because I had never offered Megan a wedding venue. I had never told my mother I would pay for one. And suddenly, my name being on that booking did not feel like paperwork anymore. Megan was 25 and had gotten engaged only 6 weeks earlier. I was genuinely happy for her. I had helped her look at dresses online, sent her names of photographers, and offered to organize the guest list because spreadsheets were one of those things I was annoyingly good at. But money between my family and me had always been complicated. Megan was the daughter my parents worried about. If she was short on rent, they stepped in. If her car needed repairs, someone found the money. If she left a job before finding another one, the whole family treated it like a temporary emergency. I was different. I had a steady job, savings, and a reputation for being the responsible one. For years, I thought that was a compliment. Eventually, I realized it also meant my parents assumed I could absorb problems that belonged to other people. A couple of years earlier, they had asked me to cover several of Megan's overdue bills. They said it would only be temporary. I helped because I did not want her to get into deeper trouble. The money was never repaid. I did not make a family war over it, but afterward, I became much more careful about what I agreed to. So when Megan got engaged, I had already told my mother that I was happy to help with planning, errands, and normal sister things. I had never agreed to finance the wedding. That was why Megan's phone call bothered me so much. I told her, "Megan, I never said the venue was my gift." Her first reaction was anger. "Lauren, don't do this now. They already booked it." I asked who they were. She said Mom and Dad. I asked what exactly Mom had told her. Megan said our mother had told her not to worry about the venue because I was taking care of it. I asked, "Did Mom say I told her that?" Another silence. Then Megan said she said it was handled. That was when I stopped arguing with my sister and called the venue. The coordinator was polite, but as soon as I explained the situation, her tone changed. She told me my parents had made the initial inquiry and paid the holding deposit themselves. But the reservation file had been opened under my name and contact information. I asked whether there was a contract with my signature on it. She checked. There was not. The final agreement had not been signed yet. She explained that the date was being held, but before the next stage of the booking, the person listed on the file would need to approve the agreement and payment schedule. That person was me. I asked her to put a note on the account stating clearly that I had not authorized anyone to sign or accept financial responsibility on my behalf. She did. Then I asked her not to change anything else yet. Because by that point I had one question. Why? Why would my parents put my name on a wedding venue when they already knew I had never offered to pay for it? Before I tell you what my mother finally admitted, tell me in the comments. If you found your name on your sibling's wedding booking and nobody had asked you first, would you confront your family immediately, or would you find out exactly what they were planning before saying anything? That evening, my father called. He did not ask what had happened. He already knew. He said, "Your mother is extremely upset." I said, "Then maybe she can explain why my name is on Megan's wedding venue." He sighed. Then came the familiar speech. Megan needed support. I was doing well. Family helped family. Money came and went. Memories lasted forever. I let him finish. Then I asked him one question. "Why did you put it in my name?" He stopped talking. Not for long. But long enough. He finally said, "You need to talk to your mother." So I did. The truth came out the next day. My parents had promised Megan that venue before they had figured out how they were going to afford the full cost. The deposit was something they could manage. The remaining payments were not. My mother believed that if they reserved the venue first, Megan would announce the date, start planning around it, and become emotionally attached to it. Then, when the final agreement came to me, I would feel like I had no real choice. My mother had told Megan the venue was my wedding gift because she wanted Megan to believe everything was already settled. And they had put my name on the reservation because they expected me to complete the paperwork once enough plans had been built around it. I asked my mother why she had not simply asked me. Her answer was the entire story. "We knew if we asked you first, you'd say no." I remember going completely quiet. There it was. That was why. It was not a misunderstanding. It was not a mistake. They knew my answer, so instead of accepting it, they tried to create a situation where changing my answer would feel easier than disappointing everyone. My mother actually said, "Once Megan has told everybody the date, what are you going to do? Make your own sister cancel her wedding." That was the moment I understood what they were counting on. Not my generosity. My guilt. They thought that once the wedding felt real enough, public enough, and difficult enough to undo, I would pay rather than be blamed for ruining it. I told my mother I would not sign the agreement. She said, "Then what are we supposed to tell Megan?" I said, "Tell her the truth." For the next 2 days, Megan barely spoke to me. When she finally called, she accused me of pulling the rug out from under her. I asked her, "Did I ever tell you I was paying for your venue?" She said no. "Did you ever hear me tell Mom I was paying for it?" She said no again. "Then who told you it was yours?" She did not answer. Later that night, I sent her the venue email showing when my name had been added to the booking. I also sent her an older message I had written to Mom saying I was happy to help plan, but was not taking on wedding costs. The next morning, Megan called me again. This time she was not angry. She was hurt. She finally understood that our parents had lied to both of us. They had made her believe I had offered something. Then they had put me in the position of looking selfish when I refused something I had never offered. Megan asked what she was supposed to do. I told her she and Tyler needed to choose a wedding they could afford without assuming someone else would rescue the budget. She did not like hearing that. But this time she listened. The venue gave them a short period to decide whether they wanted to continue with a new agreement under someone else's name. My parents could not take on the remaining cost. Megan and Tyler could not either. So they released the date. My mother told several relatives that I had backed out of helping my sister. That version lasted until one of my aunts called me directly. I told her I didn't back out, I was never in. Then I explained what had happened. After that, a few relatives started asking my parents a different question. Why had they put my name on the booking without asking me? Suddenly, my mother became much less interested in discussing the wedding with everyone. Megan and Tyler eventually found a smaller venue they could actually afford. A few weeks before the wedding, Megan came to my apartment. She apologized. She said, "I was so excited when Mom told me you were giving us the venue that I never stopped to ask whether I had ever heard that from you. I appreciated that." Then she told me She had also asked our mother to stop telling people I had backed out. That mattered more than I expected. Because for once, I was not the only person in the family correcting the story. I still attended Megan's wedding. I helped her get ready that morning. I fixed the clasp on her necklace when her hands were shaking. I gave her and Tyler a wedding gift that I chose myself. The wedding was smaller than the one my parents had originally promised her. But it was real. Nobody had been tricked into paying for it. Nobody's name had been volunteered without permission. And nobody had to pretend a lie was generosity. About a month later, my mother asked why I had become so difficult about helping family. I told her I had not become difficult. I had just stopped letting other people volunteer me. For years, my reliability had made their lives easier. They had confused my willingness to help with permanent access to my time, my money, and even my name. That wedding venue finally taught me the difference. Helping someone is a choice. If someone has to hide the plan from you because they already know you would say no, they are not asking for help. They are trying to take away your choice. And once I understood that, saying no became much easier.